So email marketing is not really rocket science, but it's also not really easy either. So in this video, I want to share my top 7 email marketing tips to make things easier for you. So let's just dive right in. So tip number 1 is to segment the people on your email list, because I think one of the biggest mistakes marketers are making right now is that they treat everyone on their email list the same. While everyone has different struggles, everyone has different needs, everyone has different interests. So I think you should segment your audience. So I have this article on my website. I will also link to this in the description below so that you can read it if you like. But basically what segmentation is to identify people, their struggles, needs, goals, and to put them basically together in groups so that you can send them more relevant emails. So I think most of the people treat the email list like this. Everyone is the same. I think we should go to here to identify which struggles, needs, and goals someone has, and then group them together so that you can send those people a relevant content about the things that they are struggling with or what their goals are. So you can do that in lots of different ways. I also explain some different methods in this article, but one of my favorite methods is this one. So you have your opt-in on your website. You can do this in lots of different ways, right? And then what you can do is you can, for example, have here hansdo@gmail.com. So someone is like opting in, boom, then they click send it to me. Then they go to a confirmation page. And instead of using a boring confirmation page, we're using this. So we have a page where we tell like, hey, your cheat sheet will be there in 5 minutes. We have a little countdown to make it a little bit more visual. And then we tell people, hey, let's make it personal. In a few minutes, you'll receive the cheat sheet. But before my automations get to work, I want to make sure I'm sending you exactly what you need. So go ahead and answer some quick questions. And then you see over here that we ask a few questions. So these questions depend on your business, but I, for example, want to know what someone is offering. Like, are they offering physical products? Do they offer a service or digital products? So then here, if someone clicks digital products, then I ask, what kind of digital products do you offer? Now, imagine someone says online courses, and then I ask, what is your main obstacle right now? My marketing isn't automated. What is your goal? And then I just keep going on asking questions, because every answer to each question automatically gets stored into my email service provider. So I can show you that. So here we have Hans Do. Let's look up the profile. And then you see over here, we have Hans. And then if I go down here now, segmentation, then you see over here that Hans is selling digital products, is selling online courses. The current struggle is that the marketing isn't automated. And then here you also see the email service provider. So Hans did not answer that, but because Hans downloaded an ActiveCampaign cheat sheet, I also automatically populated this. So yeah, really important, segment your email list so that you can make your emails more relevant. Now, and then tip number 2, and it is to encourage people to reply to your emails. I think this is super fun, but not so many people are doing it. I think many marketers and online business owners, they really treat email marketing as a one-way street. They just send out emails, send out emails, send out emails, and just hoping people to buy. But I think if you would encourage people to reply to your emails, you can really build this relationship with that person that you're trying to build, right? And what you can do, so for example, I have this email over here, is you can just add a PS to your email. So you can select PS, any questions, or just want to say hi, hit reply. I would love to hear from you so that people just know like, hey, I can actually reply to these emails and then I will probably get an answer. So sometimes I also include something like, hey, any tutorials you would like to see, let me know. And then I will consider making those in the future. And I get lots of feedback from my emails. I get lots of new ideas for content, and it's really, really helping me. Plus, what I think is also true is that with email providers, like for example, Gmail, it's like an indicator when someone is replying to an email that email should not go into the spam box in the future because you have been emailing with that person, right? So yeah, small tip, but I really think this could make a huge difference. And then tip number 3, and it is to focus on building trust. And I really think this is maybe one of the biggest things I've learned in the last 5 years. Because yeah, if you just think about it, if everything you do is working towards building trust with that person on your email list, then it's going to be so much more likely that they will actually buy from you, because people buy from people they trust. So keep that in mind with everything you do, and don't use any shitty marketing tactics like hiding your unsubscribe link or using fake scarcity to trick people into buying. But yeah, how do you actually build that trust? That's what we're going to talk about in the next tip. So then tip number 4, and it is to provide value. Because I think one of the quickest ways to build trust is by providing value. So after you have segmented your audience that I told you about in tip number 1, then you know what someone is struggling with, you know what their goals are, and then just whenever you write emails, just keep those things in mind. Try to help people to solve their struggles, try to help them get closer to their goal, and you will win their trust. And like I said earlier, people buy from people they trust. So if you struggle with that, if you're not sure about how to create valuable content, here I have like a super simple exercise. So you just start a document, you call it content ideas, and then you start a sentence with, I want to help you, ... and then keep your audience in mind, and then complete that sentence as many times as you can, and you will have so much helpful, valuable content. And then one more quote that I want to close this tip off with is to make your marketing so useful people would pay you for it. So this is said by Jay Baer, and I really try to keep this in mind whenever I'm creating content. I'm just trying to think about, okay, make your email, make your video, make my tutorial so useful people would actually have paid for it, and then I know I would have done a good job. Tip number 5, keep the design of your emails super duper simple. So I know that when I got started with email marketing, I wanted to have like super fancy, nice emails that looked very professional with a header, my logo, social media icons and everything. But by doing that, I was really hurting my business. So this is what I'm using right now. So it's just like a plain email with some emojis, then with some like marked text in it, and here a photo of myself, a PS, like some colored links, and a little unsubscribe line here in gray in the bottom, but that's it. And I think why this works so well, why this format works so well, because it looks like an email that comes from a friend, versus if you would have an email template that's like maybe nice and centered over here. You can just maybe Google it, email marketing template. If I go over here to images, like if I would have gotten this into my email inbox, for example, or something like this, like, yeah, it looks very nice, but it also really looks like an ad, right? And I really think you should try to make your emails look like they're actually coming from a friend or a coworker, someone that you actually want to read emails from. So yeah, this is a template I'm using. I'll also put this in the description below so that you can just import it and change to your own needs if you would want to. Tip number 6, be consistent. Because I think that building trust with your audience is really hard if people suddenly don't hear from you for weeks or maybe even months. Like some people might even forget that you exist at all. So myself, for example, I'm sending out one email every Tuesday just to keep people engaged, so that whenever I maybe have a promotion or something to sell, that these people still know who I am and that they also still trust me enough to maybe purchase my product. Tip number 7 is to automate your email marketing. And this maybe sounds super duper techy, but you have simple tools that you can use to build out automations where you can basically pre-write your emails, and then you can just schedule them in advance so that you can say like, okay, I want to send this email, and then after that person opened that email, I want to send this email, and then the next day after 24 hours, I want to send this email. So let me show you a quick example of that. So this is ActiveCampaign. So this is the email service provider that I'm using, that I really love, I really recommend. So I'll also put a link for this tool in the description below so that you can support the channel if you want to. So here you see that we sent out an email. So we say something like, hey, here is the checklist. So somebody just requested a checklist on the website. And then we say, wait until the contact has opened this email or click the link inside this email for up to 2 days. And then after those 2 days, or when somebody opened or clicked a link inside this email, then we check, okay, did that person do that? If not, then we just want to send a follow-up. We want to say like, hey, did you see the checklist? I noticed that you didn't open the email yet, something like that. And then after all that, we want to send maybe an email that says like, hey, this is how I'm going to help you with my future emails, something like that. And then we wait for 1 day, and then the next day we send a little email about my story. So this is just a simple example. This is also totally okay if you get started with something like this. But then if you go a little bit more advanced, you can really automate everything. You can automate the onboarding process. Then you can maybe have an evergreen newsletter that keeps people engaged for maybe a whole year. You could even automate all your promotions with authentic evergreen deadlines. There's really so much possible with this. So these are my top 7 email marketing tips. I hope that they were helpful to you. And I'm super duper curious, which one is your favorite tip? Just let me know in the comments below. I'm super duper curious. And over here, you see some other videos that will also help you to get better at email marketing.